Hi and welcome back to my channel MAJ Cognitions. I am back with another gardening video for you guys. So today I'm gonna show you my new addition to my garden. I got some cuttings from a gardener, so I wanted to show you guys how I plant them first in the cups, and then I'm gonna transfer them over to my garden. And I'm also going to show you the progress, how it goes after a week, like in 7 days. So I have 5 different plants. So this plant here is a Kalanchoe. It's a beautiful flowering succulent kind of a plant. As you can see, it has a bit waxy leaves. It has a beautiful pinkish flower with the yellow center. I'm gonna put it in a cup. This cutting here is a purple heart cutting. Purple heart plant is also a flowering plant. It grows beautiful flowers when it grows and gets matured. You can see that there's a little root coming out. If you can see that, here's the root, like a little root. It's gonna grow and support this plant, support this cutting to grow into a plant. So this is plant number 2. This beautiful little plant here, it's a little bud actually of a plant called RHEO. It's a RHEO plant bud, or you can call it cutting if you want. It has a root. Okay, it has this root, but I'm not counting on this one, but I'm counting on some new growth from the nodes. Okay, and this node is also going to develop some new roots, so I'm counting on those two, and hopefully I'm going to get a successfully growing plant. So plant number 3, Kalanchoe, RHEO plant, purple heart, and this is one of the famous plant. You might have guessed it already. It's a croton. It's one of the type of croton, so you already know this is an easiest plant to grow. So I don't doubt that this is gonna be a failure. It's not gonna be a failure. It's going to be it's going to have a successful growth, and I'm sure about this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 plants. Now I have this one. I have 2 cuttings actually for this one. This is a jasmine plant. In Hindi it's called mogra. It smells great. It grows bushier, depends on how you grow it, and it's gonna give you a great fragrance. It's gonna give a great fragrance to your garden, and it's gonna be one of the beautiful addition too. So you can see the newly growing little jasmine flowers. I'm gonna have to cut it when I put them in the cup. I have another one here. This is a bigger one. So I have 2 cuttings. Let's see which one grows successfully. This is a green cutting, and this is a kind of a hardwood cutting. So I'm really counting on this one to get a successful growth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually I have a 6th one, but I really doubt that this plant is gonna make it. But let's see if it does, if it makes it to a plant, or it dies. Let's see what happens to this plant. It's a beautiful little plant. I don't really know what type of plant this one is, but it's a tiny plant. So let's see how how they go. So I'm going to put this plant and this cutting and this cutting together, okay, and I'm gonna put the rest in individual cups. So here I have those cups, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 cups. I'm gonna put all of them in those cups. I'm gonna put some soil in it and show you guys how I do it. So I'm done with planting these cuttings in these 5 cups. So I have this in this one, purple heart in the pink cup. I have jasmine in the green cup. I have this croton in this one, and I have this plant here. And you must have noticed that the soil is too dry, so it's important that you moisten it up. So I'm going to water it once, and then we'll see what progress it makes after a week. So I'm just watering all of them because the soil is too dry. It seriously needs watering. Now just to let you know why you must have noticed that in the time-lapse video, while I was putting all these cuttings in these cups, I trimmed a lot of leaves from this croton and from my jasmine, and all of those leaves are here, and I also trimmed flowers. Why did I do that? Well, the reason why we need to do it is because when you trim off the leaves, right, so whichever leaf you see which is a complete one, trim that off and cut it into half, or you can just trim them off from the base of it, as I did it in the jasmine. So what it does is it removes all the leaves, which actually takes energy off from the stem. Okay, so at this point, when you plant a cutting in the soil, the stem needs power and energy to develop roots. That's important. That's the priority for now. Okay, once the roots are developed, plant will automatically start popping out new shoots. New branches will pop out, and you'll have a new plant ready. So to increase the rate of success, when you go cutting, these are the things which you need to do. Cut off the leaves, leave the nodes if you see any nodes, like if you see any buds on the nodes, sorry, like you see here is a node but there is a bud on it, so I kept those buds because these are newly growing buds. So I'm really hoping that these buds will catch up once the roots are developed. So this is what you need to do, and these plants don't really need that. I think the RHEO plant and the purple heart, they are going to catch up because they already have roots, like a little root popping out. So I don't think they're going to have any challenge. And this one is actually a ready plant, so it was just a little bud popping out from the side. All I did is I just took that bud off from that main plant from the garden, and I just took it off and I just replanted it. That's all I did. So now let's see how it goes and what progress my plants make after a week. Now after 7 days, this is how they look. Let me show you all of those plants I planted a week ago and how they look now. So here's my Kalanchoe. Looks like because of the replantation, replanting it from a different place altogether to a different place, looks like the plant is a bit stressed out. Okay, it's gonna take some time to get recovered, but it's alive, so that's a good sign. So it's not dying out. Okay, if the plant was going to die out, it would have died out in 2 or 3 days. But after 7 days, this is how my Kalanchoe plant looks. Plant decided to drop out the flowers from the smaller one and from the bigger one, so maybe that's because the plant needs energy to grow and to send more roots underneath the soil to absorb more nutrition so that the plant can develop. So it's a good sign that it is working towards the progress. So here's my Kalanchoe after 7 days. Now this plant, this jasmine cutting, looks like it's dried out, but if you look closely, it is actually showing the sign of progress. The bigger one is looking like it is drying out, but still there are certain places, there are certain spots on the plant which are showing a little bit of growth, like buds are popping out from little places, like I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Like the older bud is kind of drying out, but there is another spot on the root side of it. That spot is a new bud trying to pop out. So it is showing a progress, but the progress is extremely slow in this jasmine cutting. So that's a good sign on this cutting, but the smaller cutting is actually showing the clear sign of progress. If you can see, this little node clearly is growing some buds out. If you can see, look at this one. Here's a bud. Here's another bud. See? So there are 2 buds from 2 nodes. Good sign. And it's actually 3. There are 3 buds coming out. Here's another one. from this node as well there is a bud popping out. I was not really hoping much progress from this smaller cutting, and I was really hoping a lot from this bigger one. But the smaller one is going better, and it's you know, it's showing sign of clear progress, and the bigger one actually looks more kind of a dried out stick. So let's see what happens in a few more days or in a week. Whatever is the progress, I'm going to show you guys what happens. Now let's move on to the purple heart. So my purple heart plant cutting is also showing some progress. Looks like the older leaves are going to dry out and fall, and it's gonna pop out some new leaves, and new leaves altogether is gonna start out as a new plant. So that's what it looks like. Let me show you the sign of progress in my purple heart plant. Can you see the budding right there? So there's a budding, okay, popping out. Here's another budding over here. And here's a drying out leaf. So it's gonna dry out and fall. So this looks like this leaf is going to dry out, but I don't know if you have noticed it. There is a little bud popping out from the base of this drying out leaf. Here's a bud. So this bud is popping out. Looks like it's gonna pop out a new branch of my purple heart plant, and I'm gonna have a brand new buds popping out from this cutting, and it's gonna look like a beautiful plant. Now there's no sign of progress in this one, like the other cutting. Looks like it is drying out. So that's alright, not a problem. I have one. Now my croton. I guaranteed you guys that it's going to show progress, as it does in crotons. Usually crotons do great, and they usually don't disappoint you. And I don't think so that this cutting of croton is drying out. Although it looks like it's drying out, but it isn't. All the older leaves which I trimmed halfway, looks like they're all dried out. But let me show the sign of progress in this one. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bud on the tip of it. So there are some new leaves which are going to pop out from the tip of it, and it's gonna grow into a new plant. So yeah, my croton is actually growing, although it looks like dried out, maybe for some reason, I don't know. And I'm gonna give you guys an update how is it doing. Now my last cup with a cutting of RHEO plant and some unknown little plant. I really thought that this little unknown plant, which looks beautiful, is going to dry out. It's not gonna give me any progress, because it was like a little dried out, like it was very soft, and it looked so delicate that, you know, it's gonna get destroyed in a day. But I'm really happy to see the sign of progress. As you can clearly see that it's growing. See, leaves are erect, none of the leaves are dried out. If a plant dries out, it just dries out in like 2 days, 2 or 3 days, but it's been 7 days All the leaves are healthy. Okay, plant looks like it's gonna grow and it's gonna have a bright future. And hopefully I'm gonna have a bunch of it growing. Now, last but not the least, here's my RHEO plant. It is showing the sign of progress, not from the top, but from the bottom. From the top, you can see this leaf is kind of drying out, right? So that's because, you know, that can be one of the sign of progress, because in lot of plants, the leaves on cutting, the leaves dry out and the new leaves pop out. That's the way they grow if you plant a cutting. And but here I see the root, so there's a root, you know, popping out, so that shows that it is growing. So I'm gonna have a RHEO plant growing. So this is a progress which I wanted to show you guys after 7 days, how they look. So if you're new to my channel, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more coming. Hit the bell icon to get notified about my new videos. And see you guys in my next video.